I love to see an emotional, pissed off Yoki because I mean, this is a literal giant that you're waking up. She's a little bit more stoked when she's on the floor. She does her thing. She gets her 60. She gets her 61. She breaks the scoring record. I mean, everyone looks a little bit more excited than she does. And that's just seems like from outside looking in, that's just what it looks like. But when she's getting a little bit more hype, a little bit more, loosen them shoulders a little bit, that's the Yoki that I think I like to see, and I hope everybody else likes to see that too.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
What's going on, y'all? What's happening? This is your girl, Jazsmin Halliburton, coming at you with another episode of Run It Back here on KCSN, talking about all things K-State women's basketball. Just the hottest team to grace Manhattan at this point in time. We got to show them love because depending on where you are at, as far as your fandom and for which team and for who, what, and for whoever, this is where all your attention needs to be. And if that is so, welcome to the club, baby. Now, I want to get things going. I want to get this ball rolling. You know what I mean? We've been at this all season long so far. K-State, they're at 11-1 on the season. Only the one loss coming from that time 13th ranked Duke. Toughest team they played so far this season. They seem to have bounced back incredibly well in doing so. Belt to ass, essentially, for some smaller teams, and a Power 5 team in Texas A&M, which turned out to be a 40-point dub. And now, I want to get to, of course, the most recent game, the Bill Snyder Classic. Now, I have some thoughts on the production value of that game, of the Bill Snyder Classic for the last 2 seasons. We gonna get into that. We gonna get into that later in the show. But I'm gonna give y'all what y'all really here for, and that's of course just all things K-State women's basketball. All right. So 13th ranked Kansas State went up there against Middle Tennessee State, back-to-back Conference USA champions. This is a team that if you've been paying attention to the games that K-State has played so far, announcers have been kind of looking at this game against Middle Tennessee State, a game that it could have been a sleeper. It could have been a potential upset if there was anyone on the schedule in the pre-conference schedule that could have upset K-State outside of a really good already ranked Duke team. It was Middle Tennessee State. I kind of had a uncomfortable feeling coming into this game. I wasn't fully sure, and I know the first half made me feel really, really uncomfortable because the first half overall was abysmal shooting wise. K-State was shooting 18% from the field, only made 5 shots that entire first half, and I want to say at least 2 or 3 of them had to come from Jalen Glenn, right? But K-State was down 25-26 at the end of the first half, okay? And I mean, it wasn't necessarily all of what Middle Tennessee was doing. Obviously they're a really good team. Talked about them, back-to-back Conference USA Championship. This was a tournament team. This is a team that really can put it to you if you're not on your P's and Q's type of team. And I was getting a little bit nervous as to things are really just not going our way in this first half. Shooting 18%, 5 from 28 from the field, down 1 at the end of the first half once again against a really good Middle Tennessee team. But it was nothing to be fully concerned because, like I said, it's nothing that Middle Tennessee State was doing in that first half that was truly making K-State uncomfortable. It's just the ladies; the shots weren't falling. It's something about that rim on the right side of the court had to be double rimmed or something because it is really hard to score on that end of the court on that basket. And honestly, Middle Tennessee State, they found that out in the second half themselves. I don't know, but I mean, where the issues, I guess, kind of first lied for K-State in that first half is someone you had to highlight, 6'7" Anastasia Bolareva. I hope I pronounced her name right. But if I didn't, I apologize. 6'7", okay, going up against Yoki, 6'6", the tallest individual that I want to say that Yoki has played against. There's definitely this season. In her career, I can't fully say if that's the tallest person that was on her in a game. But I know she hasn't encountered that many. There's not many games where Yoki is shorter than the person that she's going up against, right? So that was kind of like a difficult thing at first for Yoki to navigate on. Yoki really didn't take a whole lot of attempts in the first half. A majority of her points, I want to say she only scored about like 5 in the first half. It was all coming from the 3-point line, and that was essentially because Anastasia, 6'7" Anastasia, she was giving her problems. But I mean, we understand K-State has learned when Yoki is not the first option in a game. That was the issue when they went up against Duke earlier on in the season in Las Vegas, how they were kind of just force feeding Yoki, and they were triple teaming her, they were double teaming her, this, that, and the third, whoop, wop, wop, the entire game. And K-State wasn't taking enough shots. That was, I think, one of the main reasons that they ended up losing that game, is because they were not making shots. They were just trying to force feed it to Yoki. Kind of went back in time 2-3 seasons where just give it to Yoki and hope for the best. They weren't shooting their shots like we've seen them be able to do, right? So they've learned that lesson. When Yoki's not necessarily the first option, they're going to do what they do. They're going to swing the ball. They're going to have good ball movement. They're going to try to kick it out from in the 3-point line. That's something that they've done consistently throughout this season. One of the best 3-point shooting teams. They average like 9 makes a game. Now, they were getting those looks in the first half, but maybe none of them were falling. Tamara's 0 for 7 in the first half. The only person that was really, really consistent that essentially kind of kept us in that game in the first half was Jalen Glenn. She went stupid. She ended up having 5 threes for the whole game, 15 points. All her points came from 3 into the game, 4 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 and D. That's her role. That's her job. And she handled it to perfection. Okay, that's what she's there to do. Okay, had to be those 5 made field goals in the first half. 2 or 3 of them had to come from her, right? And K-State only scored 25 points in that first half. 11 of them came from the 3-point line or from the free throw line. And I know this team has had its struggles the past few seasons at the free throw line, but they ended up finishing this game 80% from the strike. So that in itself, that's something that really, really, really helped, especially in that first half when they're going in down 1. Now, considering how awful that first half was offensively for them, they were still only down 1. Middle Tennessee State wasn't doing that hot offensively either, because obviously Gappy the GOAT, the Manhattan Child, the Golden Child, this team, that defense travels. Okay, we know this, we understand this. This has been the most consistent thing throughout the past few seasons with this team. Is that maybe they didn't have the best offense in the past, but damn it, maybe that defense will travel, and that's what it's going to continue to do, right? So Middle Tennessee State didn't have a good offensive half themselves. They ended up shooting 38% from the field, only scoring 26 points through 2 quarters in that first half. Okay, so that's essentially what it was. That was kind of that breakdown of what was going on in the first half. K-State, all things considering, only down 1 in the first half. Middle Tennessee State wasn't doing so hot offensively. Not necessarily anything too crazy of what they were doing defensively. Middle Tennessee State kind of limiting these shots. I mean, they're a good perimeter team. Protecting that 3-point line. They really are overall a really good team being able to do that. But I mean, what are the best ways to kind of get around a team that is really good at defending the 3-point line? Ball movement. And it was still good ball movement that it pretty much expanded throughout the whole game, just like I said before. Shots just weren't falling. They were getting open looks. To my point, actually had a lot of open looks, but nothing was going, nothing was falling. Sometimes that's just how basketball will work. Okay, but that's about it. That's the first half. Second half, overall adjustments. I don't really think Coach Minnie made a whole lot. Essentially, it was just getting the ball in the hoop. It's simple. The game of basketball can be simple when you're really good at it, and these girls are. This team overall is, and so that's essentially all they really had to do. Just get the ball in the hoop. Whoa. Not saying that's not a difficult thing. I understand that. But that was essentially all that was really holding them back. Okay? Because then they come in after that, after halftime, maybe they turned up. They ended up scoring 27 points in the third quarter alone. Mind you, only scored 25 in the first 2 quarters. Okay? Scoring 27 points. They had 25 at the half. They outscored Middle Tennessee State 49-22 in the second half alone. Like I was saying, Coach Minnie, I really don't believe he did anything crazy. He didn't do anything crazy as far as, too much defensive adjustments. I saw they had gotten a little bit more into zone. They did that later in the second quarter. But like I said, it's not like Middle Tennessee was really heating them up for them to be able to do that. You just want to keep them guessing because you have the length, you have the speed, you have the conditioning to be able to play defense, for a full 40 minutes, So they've been able to do that. It was just trying to make shots in the second half. So no crazy adjustments. And that's what they did. That's what they did. They shot 73% from the field. They 5 for 6 from 3, all in that third quarter. And another thing that helped, because now you're obviously things are opening up for you. Maybe that's great. That's great. But something that also really helped Ayoka trying to get her up and going. She's already making her points where she can. And that was at the free throw line in the first half. And that has still continued in the second half. But she started still getting a little bit loose. Part of that reason why, 6'7" Anastasia, she had some foul trouble. She got, I think, quick whistles, I want to say early in the third. Like, first minute of the third, she might have gotten her third foul, I want to say. And then she got her fourth. So, obviously, what can you do? That was your only solid matchup against Ayoka if you're the Middle Tennessee State coach. What else are you going to do? And Ayoka was eating everybody else up. When she was on the bench, that was fine. And honestly, that was all that necessarily she really needs to really shake loose, per se, is to see the ball go through the hole a few times already. Because even when Anastasia came back, obviously she's going to play Ayoka a little bit different. She's going to play all of the rest of the players she goes up against on K-State a little bit differently. You do that when you're in foul trouble. Obviously, she never picked up her fifth foul throughout the entire game because, she did want to foul out. I understand, but Ayoka was still, she got more aggressive. She now knows, okay, yes, you got an inch on me. Yes, probably one of the taller players I played in my career. But now that she's got a little oomph, she got a little more pep in her step after being super duper quiet in that first half. She was able to eat. Okay, she ended up finishing the game 16 points, 7 rebounds, 4 blocks. And you always got to put that something on your reel when you, on the highlight tape, on the huddle, when you block 6-7. Ayoka block 6-7. Serena Sundell block 6-7. Okay, and how the commentators and and the color analysts, they were talking about Anastasia. She's a perimeter shooter. She can shoot the ball. 6'7". I'm saying it again because that's a lot of talent. That's a tall drink of water. And she's a baller. Okay, they're talking about her having the potential to play at that next level in the WNBA. When you are 6'7", when you can stretch the floor, this is something that was talked about as well. How if she's able to knock down some perimeter shots, she's pulling Ayoka away from the paint, and that's something else that Middle Tennessee State can really use. But that wasn't necessarily the issue or at all. I don't think that was something that was really used a lot because she wasn't necessarily knocking a lot of these shots down. I want to say a majority, if not all, of Anastasia's shots did come from the paint or the free throw line. So she never made anything like really stretch anything out. It was a little bit in the first quarter, but nothing that was made, nothing that was truly threatening. Nothing that was truly threatening that would have been a really good advantage for Middle Tennessee State, right? But that's just one of those things. But that's just something that Ayoka, she loosened up. She got her position in. She was playing a little bit more aggressive. And honestly, she got really, really hype when I think she had a block when she was trying to get loose a little bit more, getting her rebounds, making a tough shot. A pissed off Yoki's my favorite, me personally. I love to see an emotional pissed off Ayoka because I mean, this is a literal giant that you're waking up. She's a little bit more stoked when she's on the floor, she does her thing. She gets her 60, she gets her 61. She breaks the scoring record. I mean, everyone looks a little bit more excited than she does. And that's just, that just seems like from outside looking in, that's just what it looks like. But when she's getting a little bit more hype, a little bit more, loosen them shoulders a little bit, that's the Ayoka that I think I like to see, and I hope everybody else likes to see that too. Even though she doesn't need to be pissed off for her to be good. Clearly, the numbers are there, but it's just something about this game to be able to go up against 6'7", no matter how the circumstances shaked out, and still be able to play really, really well. You love it. You love to see it. Okay. Now I'm gonna talk about a little bit more from this game, from the Bill Snyder Classic. You'll hear my thoughts the rest of the game and the overall production, like I promised. But before we get to that, we got to give a shout out to Home Field Apparel. They're going to have everything you need. This Fanny Danny sweater I got from over there. I got a whole lot of t-shirts from over there. You can get any t-shirt, hat, hoodie that you could want from that site. And it's not just K-State. They have several other universities that have some vintage stuff. They got some NASCAR. They're just doing it big over there. And it's Christmas, so you might as well pick you up a little something and somebody else as well, okay? So homefieldapparel.com is where you need to be. And we'll be right back on Run It Back.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
All right, y'all. Welcome back. So y'all heard what I'm talking about as far as this game against Middle Tennessee State. K-State winning 74-48. This is just the third game of the season to where they've been held under 80 points. So obviously this is a team that's already played 12 games on the season. They're 11-1. Only loss coming from Duke. That's pretty damn good from where I'm sitting, right? So talked about, that first half, it was abysmal. Second half, they turned up. Not saying they had anything crazy adjustments that needed to be done. They just needed to start making some damn shots, and that's exactly what they did. That was at that point, all the worry left my body. I was okay. This was a team that could be on upset alert. It was Middle Tennessee State, back-to-back Conference USA champs. Okay, now overall, K-State able to get this dub and win by a lot. Yoki 16.7 rebounds, 4 blocks. Tamara Poindexter has to be very familiar with this team, being from Tulsa. She finished with 15.6 rebounds. She had the first half. Her offense was not very good. Not because she was doing anything bad. Obviously, she was 0 for 7 from the field. She had a lot of open looks. Things just weren't going in. She's literally everybody else on the team. She just took the most shots at that point in time. So she was able to get the ball through the hoop. Jalen Glenn, the most consistent person in this game. Honestly, the one that made that first half not as ugly as it looked, because she was the only one consistently scoring the basket, okay? 15 points, 5 threes, all 15 of her points came from behind the arc, and she ended with 4 rebounds, 3 steals. I'm going to call her what she is, 3 and D. She knows her role, all right? Serena Sundell in her homecoming, 11 assists, 5 points, and Taryn Size giving us 8 points off the bench, 2 of 3 from the 3-point line. Overall stats, K-State ended up with 39% from the field. Not great, but for that first half was what it was. That's what you get. But you still go and win this game by damn near 30. Okay. Middle Tennessee State had 28% from the field. Once again, improving the overall scoring defense and field goal percentage defense for K-State. Top 10 in the damn country, top 5 really in the country. We talked about that the last show. Middle Tennessee State 28% from 3. K-State 42% from 3. Damn it, K-State is the only. K-State, of course, is that only team now have a better field goal or field goal percentage or 3-point field goal percentage better than their overall field goal percentage, considering what they've been able to do and the damage that they can inflict on you from behind the 3-point line. And it's that Taryn Size and Jalen Glenn. Boop, boop, wop, wop. Baby, that's them. Okay, they're the reason for those numbers. Okay, from the free throw line, K-State 81%. That's been a weak link in this K-State team. Even last year when they were really good, years past, that's been essentially a struggle for the past few seasons. Is that overall as a team weren't all that great at the free throw line. That's what really kept them in this game for the most part in this first half, right? They out-rebounded Middle Tennessee State 43-37. That's also a really big number you want to highlight when someone on the other team is 6'7" and Anastasia. All right. Another thing to highlight in this game, only 8 turnovers. 4 quarters. Really good defensive teams such as Middle Tennessee State. K-State only had 8 turnovers. K-State was able to force 12. Okay. And then 6 steals for K-State compared to 2 for Middle Tennessee State. That's exactly, this is what you need. For you to solidify, for you to learn your lesson, for this team to have the experience that it does, to know what do you need to do now that Yoki is not an option. Not saying you have to heavily rely on her, because this is, like I said, this is an experienced team. You have starters that has been starting ever since they were a freshman, all the way up to seniors on this team. You have people that has played a lot of basketball to know what to be able to do. Yes, they kind of got that hiccup against Duke, like I mentioned earlier, but I told y'all before in previous episodes that it's a good thing that has happened so early on in the season, because now they know how to adjust to it. And now that we've seen that kind of put into fruition, boom, with this game right here against Middle Tennessee State. What do you do? Well, how do you do it? Now you throw up shots. Now what do you continue to do when those shots start falling and they're kind of shutting Yoki down temporarily? That's continue to play some defense until the shots do fall in the second half, right? That's what they do. This is exactly what good teams do. This is what good teams do. Now you need to do all this now while you still have quote unquote easier teams. You got to be able to do this against Iowa State. You got to be able to do this against TCU. You got to be able to do this against Kansas. You got to be able to do this against a lot of teams. You got to do it against Baylor. And when it's down the road, when like we hope it will be, you got to do this against, we're lucky South Carolina, Notre Dame. You got to do this. You got to do this to a lot of you, UConn, USC. If you have that opportunity, these are the type of games that you need to do right now to be able to dig deep in what you're going to be able to do. Am I right? Yes, I am. All right. So now that we talked about that, the numbers for the Bill Snyder Classic, now there's something else I want to get on my chest. Now, for those who watched and who watched last season as well, Bill Snyder Classic, this is something that's really awesome. It's down in St. Joseph, Missouri. Bill Snyder's hometown. I do want to say that's why it's called the Bill Snyder Classic. I want to say this is just the second season that they've done this. And it's really nice. It's a nice thing to be able to have this opportunity to be able to do it. Last year they played Mizzou, pretty much kicked them out the arena, a whole 9 yards, right? So it's a cool thing that they're able to do. But baby, we got to have a conversation about the production value for these games. We got to talk about it. Now, this did air on ESPN Plus, like a lot of their games do. Cool. But I don't know if y'all watched it, but bro, why was this a screen recorded game from somebody's PC? What the hell was that? I tuned into this game. I found it. ESPN Plus is right there. For some reason, it was like double playing the national anthem and someone else talking. It was weird. Things weren't syncing up. I'm like, I exited out, cleared the app, I got back in, still the same thing. I'm like, okay, this is something that's not on my end. This is something that's going on that end. And then the game started, and then there was like the echo for the announcers, and it was weird. I'm like, bro, this is unwatchable. As far as like not necessarily the product on the floor, but just the product overall, the production, it was ass. It was ass. That's exactly what it was. And I didn't know, sometimes there's technical difficulties, and I saw that like, hey, technical difficulties. I'm like, okay, ESPN Plus, that's not, uncommon. That's not uncommon. They'll fix it. But then I saw someone control the mouse like it was screen recorded. Like, you call tech support and they take over your computer and they control the mouse. I saw it on my TV. I'm like, girl, what? What is this? This is a screen recorded game off of somebody's damn laptop that I'm watching on ESPN Plus on my TV. Don't we all pay for ESPN Plus? And this is what this is? What are you doing? What is this? I don't know who's in charge. I don't know the contracts that go into this. But damn it, why are we watching this from a screen recorded from somebody's damn computer to be able to see this? They just refreshed the page and just got right back into the full screen. I'm like, huh? If I went to the bathroom and came back, I wouldn't have known a thing. Other than, it's a little bit grainy. Yeah, the graphics down below was delayed as far as who scored baskets. You could hardly see the clock at times. Forget about a shot clock consistently. I mean, sometimes you just don't know what the score is. You don't know what the time is. I'm like, okay, that sucks, but whatever. But I'm like, at someone's computer? Really? Really? Now, I talked about this before when you had some good games on Flow Hoops that we are not be able to watch because you have to pay for that. And you'd have to pay to watch one game, maybe two a season. I don't want to do that. I really don't think a whole lot of people want to do that. So y'all gotta find a way to get this on TV. Get it on ESPN Plus. That's fine. That's cool. But now when you have this on ESPN Plus, you gonna do that? I don't mean to yell. I don't. But I'm like, this is ridiculous. That's ghetto. I'm sorry. What are you doing that for? If this is something that's going to be able to grow into something good, to hopefully be a top 25 matchup down the line, to be able to be something consistent that K-State always plays in and get a lot of viewership, you got to do better than this, honey. You got to do better than this. And I didn't even think it could be worse than last year. Last year, the graphics were like new CG graphics, like the one I have in my news station. It was that. I'm like, that's weird. Like, I'd never imagined you watch the news have graphics for sports like that, and it just looked odd when it's not like a sports highlight in the news station package. I'm like, okay, that's weird, but whatever, things work. Doesn't look the prettiest, but it works. Now, this is just worse. This was just worse. So someone needs to have a discussion on what they can do to do better. I don't know if it's the arena where things were spotty. The camera work, the fact that it was on somebody's laptop when we were watching on our TVs, I don't know. And I know this is ranting. I know I'm talking a lot. I know I'm probably talking fast, and I apologize. But that pissed me off so bad. I'm like, bro, this is almost unwatchable. If it wasn't for the product on the floor, I couldn't watch. If this is any other team other than K-State playing, I could not watch. I couldn't. I would have changed the channel immediately, emphatically. But I just know something's got to change. I really hope next year something does. I really, really do, because this is a good team. They have the potential to stay a good team even after all these seniors leave. People are going to want to watch. The women's game is growing, and doing something like this hinders it. It does. It really does. It's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. So I don't know who's in charge of it, but something's got to change. Something's got to change. So with that, I'm done. I'll get off my soapbox. I just had to let y'all know. For those who didn't watch it, and for those who did, I'm sure you share my pain. You share my frustration. I'm sure you do. If you do, let me know in the comments. Follow me on Twitter at JAZSMIN3H. Hit me up there. Let me know, because I talked about it on my Twitter when I was live tweeting the game. And I do that. I live tweet the game. So go ahead, follow me. So let me know on y'all thoughts, and if y'all really agree with me on this, that something's got to give. But like I said, I'll get off my soapbox. That's going to be it. Catch K-State women's basketball next game against New Mexico State. That will be at Wednesday at 6:30 on ESPN+. I know that will be okay, because K-State HDTV is going to have it up and running like they always do. Okay? But like I said, that's it. I'm going to catch y'all next week right here on Run It Back. I'll see y'all then.